It is Movie Review Mom with another review today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me while I talk about movies. So, the review I'm doing today is called Nope. This mystery slash horror slash thriller slash a variety of things movie was released in theaters about a week or so ago, and it's now available to stream online already. So the movie is rated R and it's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving is, drum roll please, I really went back and forth on this one and I settled at a B minus. And hear me out. Let me explain why. When I give a grade, I consider, of course, how I think of the movie, but also how I think other people are reacting to the movie. And this movie has had mixed reactions. There's been a lot of buzz about this movie and the Academy Award winning director, Jordan Peele. So I was super excited to see it. Some are even calling Jordan Peele the next M. Night Shyamalan. He wrote and directed this movie, and the story is fairly simple, yet it packs a punch once it finally hits. And I think once you finally think about it and put all of the pieces together. So, in a nutshell, it's about a small town in inland California that witnesses a chilling spectacle. Now, the movie has been out long enough. You probably know it has something to do with something that's coming from the sky. In other words, an alien, predator, creature from beyond, or something like that, right? So I don't think that's a huge spoiler. At least I hope not. Let me tell you the list of things that I liked as well as things I didn't like. And then I'll point out tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, and even recommendations for some other movies that I think that you'll really like if you like this one. And if you like those other ones, you're going to probably like this one too. Okay, so here's the list of things that I really liked about the movie. Daniel Kaluuya is such a versatile actor and deserving of his Oscar nomination for his work in the movie Get Out, which is also a Jordan Peele movie. I also really liked Keke Palmer in this role. Everyone else in the cast also did a great job, including Stephen Yen, Brandon Perea, and Keith David, among others. The movie takes place in Agua Dulce, California. And in fact, the home and the ranch were created specifically for this movie. Apparently, Jordan Peele really liked the area because so many set designers and crew members that work in Hollywood on construction and building, all of these sets actually live out there. It was during COVID. And so they just had lots of empty space where they wouldn't get COVID or give COVID to anybody. There's a quote at the beginning of the movie from the book of Nahum in the Old Testament. And the story in the Bible is about how God will make spectacles of the people of the city of Nineveh because of their wickedness. So if you're familiar with those scriptures, you'll see some similarities in this movie. And the movie's theme is all about the spectacle. I'll tell you more themes here in just a minute. This is actually the very first horror film in history to be filled with IMAX cameras. So that's kind of cool. If you're a fan of the movie Akira, you'll see some respectful nods to scenes in that film because it actually is one of Jordan Peele's favorite movies of all time. Did you know that Fry's Electronics went out of business? I didn't even know that. We have a gigantic one, or I should say, we had a gigantic one here in my city. That was super cool. And so that's too bad. So the store features a scene in Fry's Electronics that made me think, oh, yeah, I should go there. And then I realized, wait, they're closed. So that's the last we all get to see of them. So they filmed it before the company closed and before the movie's release. So I love it when directors include lots of details and visual cues for audiences. For example, in this movie, you're going to see a lot of thematic images, images in the sky, the clouds, the shapes, popping balloons, old-timey record players, and other old-timey Western types of cowboy motif to contrast with the idea of an alien or a space creature. The light humor in the movie is always welcome, although it's mostly a very serious movie. There are so many night scenes in the movie that are filmed really well. So, great job to the cinematographer and the director for working that out. Oftentimes, when I see these movies with scenes at nighttime, I make the comment, well, if you're going to watch this on a small streaming device, it's going to be hard to see exactly what's going on. And it is dark, but you are able to capture stuff that's going on in the sky and in the clouds. And so it was a really cool effect. Similar to M. Night Shyamalan's movies, you're often shown only part of a scene to increase tension and intrigue. And so in this movie, the camera often moves very slowly as it pans a scene, but then suddenly transitions into another scene, leaving you wonder what happened. And if it's done well, it can add to the intrigue and the tension and the suspense. And so part of the time, I think it works out really well. Another part of the time, I'm like, but I don't know, that transition seemed like it cut so fast and abruptly and starkly that it broke sort of the feeling, the ambiance that that scene created. So that leads me into some of the things that I didn't like. The movie, first of all, is very slow moving. Nothing really happens for an entire hour and 20 minutes. You know, if you know it's going to be about an alien and you're waiting for that alien to show up, you're going to be waiting a really long time. Another question that I have is it a horror or is it a sci-fi thriller or psychological drama or social commentary or all of the above mixed together? And it kind of is all of those things mixed together. It's not one specific classic formula for one of those genres. And so some people might be a little confused and have certain expectations that aren't met. And we're finding a lot of people who say, oh, this was a terrible movie. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. I think that it has to do with their expectations. There are some plot holes that remain unanswered throughout the movie and even at the end of the movie. This is one of those movies where you can run to the restroom several times or even doze off and not really miss anything for large swatches of time. That being said, there are certain scenes that once you've seen them, you're supposed to tuck all of that away in your brain so that when it comes back, you're like, oh, okay. So, for example, at the towards the beginning of the movie, you see a well and you're just like, okay, whatever. But that well becomes significant later on. Anyway, you could easily tell that there's this chimpanzee who's not really a chimpanzee. He's not a real animal, but really motion capture just because of the movements. And I thought, is there a reason they're not using a real monkey or is it supposed to not be a real monkey? And some of those types of elements, I don't know. I don't have the answers for, other than maybe it was budget and COVID and that kind of thing. There are some flashbacks that might confuse viewers. If you're thinking that it's all happening in the present day, you're definitely going to get confused. So just know that there's a story at the beginning that then comes back. Well, to help you out, there's a child at the beginning or something that happens towards the beginning. And then he grows up and becomes a man who hasn't learned the lesson from the beginning, if that helps. Just look at it that way. There are plenty of interesting connections, but they're often very subtle so that audiences might not get them. Overall, the movie is very clever, but again, I think not everybody is catching, I think, everything that Jordan Peele was laying down. There's no end credit scene, which is a shame. It would have been fun. I could think of several things that could have been entertaining or interesting or even insightful if they had been added during the rolling credits at the end. All right, let me give you some tips for parents. There is some violence with blood splatters and gore and death. There's profanity and lots of F-bombs. There's a female character who smokes a lot. A vicious monkey kills people. There's a high dead body count, and you don't see necessarily everybody dying, but it's sort of assumed, kind of in an M. Night Shyamalan way, everybody was killed. So just so you know that. There are some kind of gross scenes where this creature from the sky drops, like it rains blood, and then big giant turd poop things fall from the sky, and and you're just like, what's going on? But that's what's going on, in case you can't figure that out. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are that, well, first of all, wonder, family, legacy, but also trying to control nature and animals, trying to profit from spectacles, nature photography, trying to capture the unbelievable on film in some way. And then Jordan Peele described the big theme of the movie as addiction to spectacle. And I think that helps, knowing that before you see the movie, for what that's worth. All right. So I like to write down funny lines and interesting lines on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I didn't write down anything funny. Nothing made me laugh out loud. Maybe some inner snickering, but some interesting lines I'll share with you. You could see them all on my written review. So a character named Ricky Jupe Park, he's the little boy who grows up to become this, I can't say he's a circus guy. He's just got this spectacle that you pay money to go see, kind of out in inland California. And, hardly anybody shows up to see it. But he says, what if I told you that today you'll leave here different? I'm talking to you right here. You are going to witness an absolute spectacle. And it really speaks back to the Barnum and Bailey circus, when the freak shows were the big attraction people wanted to see. I'm thinking of the Greatest Showman, that's the musical, and those kinds of spectacles. And so his show has that kind of a feel to it. Another interesting line is spoken by O.J. Haywood, the character, and he says, what's a bad miracle? They got a word for that? And I like that because, we think of miracles as being really great things, but there could be bad miracles, like aliens attacking and that kind of thing. And then Emerald Haywood is another character, and he says, the money shot, undeniable proof of aliens on camera, the Oprah shot. And I thought, surely she's going to get a kick out of hearing her name referenced like that. Okay, so before we go, let me give you recommendation for two other movies that you should watch if you really enjoy this one. They're both Jordan Peele movies. The first one is Get Out, that I mentioned earlier, and that one won him an Academy Award, and some of the actors were nominated and that kind of thing. The next one is called Us. Now, a lot of people just lost their minds over Get Out and weren't quite as enthralled with Us, but he's now creating quite a filmography and can show us that he could do a lot more than comedy, can't he? So he's got quite a talent and quite a vision, and that the movies that are coming out of his brain are just very intriguing. All right, so that's it for my review. I hope if you watch this, you enjoy it, that you get it, and I can appreciate it. And if you end the movie thinking, oh, that was just really weird, spend some time putting those pieces together, and I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more, especially knowing what the big theme is, the big message that Jordan Peele wants to share. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.